why is it so difficult that we have to make this vow? And if Amitabha is so almighty, why can't he just simply escort us to go to the Western Pure Land? The Buddha land can be brought into being by bodhisattvas. Buddhas and bodhisattvas have enough merits and virtues to create Buddha lands on their own and for us to have a spiritual life. But if they create and they purify the Buddha land for the benefits of all sentient beings, they can certainly do that. But why is it that we're not benefiting from it? We're still encountering difficulties. In Mahayana, advanced bodhisattvas are quite capable of purifying or building a Buddha land single-handedly. But what is the use? The Buddha lands that Buddhas and bodhisattvas create, they cannot keep people there indefinitely, and it's because people are not going to cooperate. They will not feel at home, and they're not ready for it. And that's the reasons why we're struggling to resonate with the Pure Land. And that is because it is very difficult to cooperate. We don't have the preparation. There was an Indian story about a woman who sold fish. Her village was far away from the market, and she would take her fish to go to the market to sell the fish. And one time, for some reason, it took her a long time to sell the fish. If she was to go back home to her village that day, it would be very late for her. So she decided to stay in town. Fortunately, there was a flower shop that was still open, and the owner graciously would allow her to stay overnight, sympathetic to her plight, and said that she could spend the night in his shop. Indian flower shops don't sell cut flowers in bunches like the Westerners do. They sell sweet-smelling garlands and little bunches of sweet-scented flowers for the ladies to put in their hair. The fish seller was staying in the flower shop overnight, and she was sleeping among all the sweet-smelling flowers, but she tossed and turned and couldn't get to sleep. She couldn't bear the scent of the flowers. They were so sweet and beautiful, so she was not used to the beautiful, sweet scent. So in the end, what did she do? She got her old fish basket, which of course smells strongly of fish, and she put it right next to her, right by her nose. And after that, she slept quite soundly. So we're in a way very similar to her situation. We would feel no less uncomfortable in the Pure Land, similar to the fish seller sleeping in the sweet-smelling flower shop. We could manage a short visit, a weekend perhaps, a short duration. Eventually, we would want to introduce some equivalent of her smelly old fish basket into the Pure Land with our habits. We like to introduce the distractions that we're used to, the entertainment, the excitement that we like. So we would want to bring along some physical or mental distractions, televisions or whatever it is that we like. We would feel more comfortable, more at home. But then, of course, the Pure Land would no longer be Pure Land. In the Pure Land, where everybody survives on meditative bliss and listening to Dharma talks, can we handle it? If we're not mentally prepared, we will want to introduce something to distract ourselves, to relieve the discomfort. So we will not last very long there. Our minds will not allow us because they're not prepared for that kind of environment. If we are used to distractions and excitement, meditative environment can be very boring and even unbearable. And that's why the Buddhas cannot just simply create a Buddha land. They can create a Buddha land, but we will not want to be there very long. We probably want to visit, but not to be there very long, because our minds are not prepared for that kind of environment. So there was an interview with Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. Everybody can see his success. So people like to ask him, what can we do to be successful like you? So that's the question they would normally ask him. But he said, I will not tell you, because if I were to tell you what exactly you have to do to be this successful, you wouldn't want to be like me, because he had to go through a lot. He said that to go through building up a company is like eating glass. It's very painful. So for a person of his capability to say that, it's really striking. So for us, if we want to be Buddhas, we want to be in the Pure Land, we cannot just simply have faith and wish and hope that will be there. We have to prepare ourselves. So all the conditions that we encounter, all the difficulties that we encounter, they are not there to make us suffer, but they are there to help us to prepare mentally. Those situations are there to remind us to have this awareness, to slowly mold ourselves to be more and more comfortable in that kind of environment. We want to be comfortable in that kind of environment, we have to be prepared. If we truly want to be in Sukhavati, we should vow to be there. That's the first step. And then we should spend the rest of our lives preparing for it. So it's not just one day, but it's a lifetime commitment. And when I say commitment, it shouldn't be very fearful, because if we want happiness, we have to work for it. So we shouldn't be afraid of the hard work. We shouldn't be afraid of difficult situations. But we should take that as an opportunity to prepare ourselves, to be used to meditative environments, to be used to living in awareness. So what is a bodhisattva to do? He cannot create a Pure Land magically for us and keeping us there. The bodhisattva wants us to be there, and if we want to be there, so we are at least resonating, we are on the same plane. That means that we have that opportunity to be there, but we have to understand that it's going to take some effort, and we should be courageous enough to put in the efforts. Otherwise, we will get uncomfortable, and it will no longer be a Pure Land. So what that means is that the Buddha Land has to be a joint creation. Right? It has to be built by a number of people, bodhisattvas and would-be bodhisattvas, together working. Mundane beings and sages working together to create this Buddha Land. Just like a spiritual community. You can create a spiritual community, but if nobody wants to come here, then it's not going to be a spiritual community. You cannot force people to come. So we have somebody who is capable to create this environment for us, and we want to be part of it, and therefore a spiritual community is created. So Sukhavati, is created not for Amitabha only. He has created that for sentient beings. And it's just not that you get a free ride to Sukhavati, but you put in the efforts. So when we go there, we put in the efforts to make it even better. In working towards our vows and putting in the efforts, there are Buddhas and Bodhisattvas helping us. And we are all inspired by the same ideal to achieve the perfect enlightenment for the benefits of all beings. So we have this aspiration to go to Sukhavati for the purpose of achieving perfect enlightenment for all sentient beings. They therefore follow the Bodhisattva path, working together, helping one another and helping sentient beings. When we are aspired to be like Bodhisattvas in Sukhavati, we should then change our attitude and consciousness to be more like them. So that's the preparation part, is to prepare ourselves mentally and spiritually so that we become acclimated to that environment. So we find joy in helping others, in meditative bliss, in learning the Dharma, and in altruism, selflessness. So when we think about Sukhavati, our hearts should be filled with joyful faith. 至心信要，即tâm tín nhạo. And that will require spiritual and mental positivity. How to create that mental and spiritual positivity, we will talk about that, and this is important because without positivity, there is no joyful faith. Joyful faith is a very positive emotion. And so when we practice meditation on compassion, visualization, we are cultivating positivity in ourselves.